Okay, hi there, welcome to this maybe shorter live video premiere. You could call it a year in review 2023 of Warlike Wrath, the channel false accusations, allegations and all of that, where basically things have been claimed or suggested with zero proof and evidence. It's under control, of course, like usual, and still here, but in different circumstances. If it was a different person faced with it, they may react differently and they could have been worse off. It's important to acknowledge what's happened and who by. Just so there's awareness, so there is understanding. I do take this stuff seriously. Other people may not, but they could be viewers who don't have as much of a responsibility when it comes to like an online presence, right? Being a viewer is different to being a content creator. One has more responsibilities than the other. One's more active than the other. If the creator was to have the same mentality and mindset as some viewers may have who are casual and brush it off, well, it just doesn't work. You can't link the two different sets of people with two different mentalities. You can't combine them together, not quite. Maybe there's negotiation with time. Some people will say, so what about the claims? So what about the allegations? Does it really matter? We know it's not true. Just keep moving forwards. Well, I can do that. But what I can also do to better myself, better the health of the channel, or try to maintain it, is by defending myself when it's necessary. Because just think, when it comes to new viewers coming on in, strangers who don't know anything about the channel or me, hear the wrong, supposed information, hear the lies, and you're going to get a bad first impression upon this channel and likely to avoid it or take action in a negative way, which is a missed opportunity and obviously a shame and could lead to further problems. So if I can lay out some outlines to explain situations as new people come on in, it might make it a little bit easier and less problematic. There's no harm in trying, right? And I said, it's just important to acknowledge what's happened and, the seriousness of it, because false accusations can be thrown about, right, in the name of something going against TOS, but what is against TOS is in the first place spreading misinformation, so it goes full circle. And just like myself, I have gone full circle. So today, I'm just going to give you a few examples of what I've been accused of, labelled of, zero evidence. Some people will already know, but no harm in rejogging people's memories, okay, past and present. It's just going to be acknowledged. I feel like it, right? Is it a psychological analysis, sis? Not so much, but you could treat it as one if you can pick up it in different ways. Look, I've done it from different cases and people recently. If you do want to catch up on any of them, top right corner of the screen, I symbol, you click on that, you'll be redirected to, different videos. And down below in the comment section, pinned comment, you'll find some additional links if you want to check them out. And maybe if you want to support the channel, feel free to do so. That'd be appreciated. Shout out to the people recently for their super chats, some here and there. And welcome to those that are currently in this live premiere. Share your thoughts, opinions, reactions as we do go along. Might not be as long this time. Of course, the day it is, people are going to be busy. That's understandable. You feel free to watch and catch up for this video itself, right? But I do genuinely believe with 100% confidence and 100% certainty that this type of video will fall flat and dead on its face in terms of impressions, reach, and just general public and strangers out there not bothering to watch this video, right? But I'm still making this video regardless, okay? I get an idea and sense of how things will go about or the outcome of stuff, okay? And also the concept of you put so much in, you get so much out. If you put too much in and you don't get as much out, there's an imbalance, right? Just like with weights, exercise, find a certain balance or a bit of negotiating there, okay? Of course, recent time, pushing with as much effort as possible to reach certain milestones and targets because I never really do it. Probably my first time in a long time, which is the 10,000 mark, very tight. Okay, I think there's about 200 plus. May whip myself over 200 times if the target is not reached. Okay, and that is not like a ploy to entice people to not subscribe, right? So then it happens, but we'll see how that goes. Okay, let's just focus on right now, right? So more so online, more so with YouTube. False accusations, labeling in real life or here, there, wherever, any point in time, not so much linkable today. This is about YouTube, this is about platform and what's going on here mainly, right? So 2020, 21 and 2023, where most of it mainly happened, right? Maybe 2022 a little bit. But what was more so going on in 2020, 21? Well, you had about 3 to 4 individuals that were falsely accusing me of stuff with zero evidence, and some people were dumb enough to get convinced by it. And they were regular viewers at the time in the Kenny Veach days. So that really says a lot about loyalty there and intellect, which is clearly lacking within some back then, where some people here and there, like Birdgut, Spain wins numero uno, same person, just alternative username, and another person in between that. I said, it's hard to remember all these names. I do remember the name now. It was Beepo Purple, with a B. Beepo Purple. It was Spain wins numero uno, Birdguts, same person, and a third person as well, I believe, where false claims were thrown about, claiming Warlike Wrath doesn't care about the Kenny Veach case, is manipulating it, and has alternative motives. He doesn't care about the missing person, he's exploiting it, he's lying, he's spreading misinformation, and so on and so on. And of course, I used appropriate wording at times when talking about stuff. Clearly, they failed to acknowledge that, or even bother reading a dictionary to begin with in understanding the language and sometimes the complexity of it. Okay? So those false claims being thrown about by those low IQ prats and idiots, some idiots that were watching the videos at the times believed in those claims, so they turned sides, such as Decode R Us, with a D. Decoding, like you're decoding a message. Decode R Us, and a few other people turned on me who were once viewers. Don't know where they are now. Oh well, natural selection, right? So there was a time there, false claims on me. Still here, still covering the case, still more consistent than they'll ever be, still more focused on the case. I don't see them contributing at all. Pathetic humans. Now, move on to the next individual, tying in with the same case. 2023, Artari. Okay, Artari was mostly okay from 2020 to 2021, but 2022 changed in behaviour, over emotional, bitchy, demanding, not good, negative, dark force, dark presence within. Obviously, external stuff must be gone on at the time, but to be taking it on me, very unnecessary. In 2023, showing her true colours, Artari accusing me of this and that, making a lot of false claims, which I've already acknowledged in that paragraph video, what we analysed from her comment at a point where she was accusing me of manipulating this and manipulating that, copying this and copying that when it wasn't true. That I received and got research in different ways. That Atari said you can do this, but you can't do that. But like you can research, but you can't research. Well, how are you supposed to research in the first place? And saying that Atari was the first one and that she did this and carried that, but at the same time it's no longer around anymore, it's been privatised, so you're just supposed to take a word for it. Well, a load of bullshit that is when you're just talking about a new person coming on in. You're supposed to believe what someone said without actually any proof of it, and you just say, well, trust me, you know, I've got to hide it. Well, very, very good job. At least I'm archiving it so the general public can see it, okay? So, is it all boils down to jealousy? Possibly. Right, that could be it. Jealousy there. There's a motive for why they're saying and doing what they're doing. But still, the claim itself is false. There was zero evidence to back it up with. But at some points, people were dumb enough to believe in it. Right? So that's why it's worth taking in mind. You can get stabbed in the back through some people that get brainwashed by external stuff. Maybe the only positive is it would highlight where their true loyalties lie and their common sense. Maybe that's one positive to take from stuff. You're weeding out the cancer even when you weren't anticipating to do so. Well, there you go. So yeah, few characters there, false accusations. Then the rest, more so the remainder, would be Dylan Rounds, right? Salty Pancakes. Anybody else? Indiana 59, false allegations there, some serious ones going against YouTube TOS. Anybody else? Did Bob Farrell say anything? Bob Farrell to a small degree, let's just acknowledge that too. Jim Terry? No, not really. Okay, insults, but not exactly defamation of character, at least from my experience personally. Unless there was background stuff that did go on, which I wasn't aware of, maybe, but at least from what I know of, didn't seem to get attacked as much from that angle in that way. I probably got attacked from that type of person or people in other ways, right? But if we're talking about false allegations and labelling with zero proof, well, didn't really get it from there. Anywhere else? I don't think so. You might have had viewers with time. It is hard to keep up with everything, okay? I mean, is there any other people who've popped up on my channel in recent time who are positive and appear friendly, but previously were negative or didn't like me, but have returned back since? We'll address that as well, because that's very interesting, of course, because I'm not quite sure if it's memory loss or another reason, but it's just it just happened. There we go once again. Goldfish with humans. You know, 0.5 seconds when I pick up on certain, behaviour, right? So with all these false claims being thrown about and how I've responded back to it, a place and a time, and with certain wording, whether it be done in a light-hearted way, responding back, or in a serious way, it's worked up to now. It's been dealt with appropriately, which is good. And most people, such as in the Dylan Rounds case, haven't exactly been brainwashed by it too much when it comes to false claims about me. People on my channel and page with time, some have walked away, but that's through not agreeing with the actions I've taken when defending myself in other ways, right? But in terms of the initial false claim being put across, people didn't walk away for that reason. They walked away for the reason of my actions in defense of something, which is interesting, right? So maybe people aren't as stupid compared to, other communities out there and certain portions of people, right? So I understand the language. Certain, some, here, there, a fair few, a couple. Not selective wording, not specific to a certain individual, no names mentioned up to now. Take that into mind if you want to understand the language and aspect there, okay? But let's talk about the false labels, the serious allegations and the stuff being thrown about. Salty Pancakes is a number one suspect for that when it comes to spreading misinformation about people. Shack Lady was accused of being a trafficker, but then after that became best buddies once again with Salty Pancakes. Oh yeah, that's great. You get accused of a trafficker, you get accused of being a paedophile, you get accused of being a rapist. Let's shake your hand. You're my best friend. Thank you for that, what you've done. Fucking delusional plum, right? That's why certain factors as to why someone would become friendly with another who's accused them of that in the first place with zero proof would be they've got a hold over them, an unnatural grip, possibly, or that person is a bit delusional or vulnerable and prone just to forgiving. Forgiveness, sometimes and other times not, because it can repeat itself down the line and it can be worse the next time round. I've been there, I've experienced it, all under control, full circle, more locked on than ever, like a radar, like a sonar, like a submarine. People are fucked, okay? When it comes to the awareness and the cautiousness, here's what it is. There we go, oh well. But yeah, Salty Pancakes accusing Warlike Wrath for being a trafficker, and maybe some other claims along the way too. Zero proof, and obviously maybe hard to believe, and people thought it was a joke or couldn't take it serious. Well, it's good that people, picked up on how ridiculous it was. That's good, right? But still, for the person to originally come up with that line, that response, that false label and allegation. It's a serious matter, right? Because in other cases in life, stuff like that can be thrown about and it can destroy people, okay? Did I feel like it was going to destroy me? No, because of who's saying it, sounding like they've got a peg on their nose and a bad cold. And with the previous actions, yeah, probably not going to be taken seriously. But in the eyes of people that come on in who have never heard of these people in cases, they might be confused and not know what to expect. So I just thought, let's eliminate any further problems and just lay it out there and explain the situation, kind of like what I'm doing right now, okay? What I do fully understand, and it's a very unfortunate position to be in. If you just so happen to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, and maybe you're quite active or vocal, or you put yourself out there, you become more of a target. And if you give the unpopular truths or give it unpopular opinions, you'll attract more negativity maybe, but you're just being yourself. But the unfortunate nature is, with time, you may build and gather false allegations, slander, defamation towards you. More and more people at times throwing false claims out about you in negative ways, right? You're carrying a lot of excess, negative, false baggage, right? And in the eyes of onlookers who see you coming along and you say, well, I've been accused of this, I've been accused of that, and I've been accused of this and that and that, it doesn't look good, does it, right? It doesn't look good because then people think, well, if so many people supposedly have a problem with you, are they the problem or are you the problem? That's how twisted it can get with time, right? So maybe there's a chance that allegations and claims can damage someone. And if not, there could be a delayed reaction down the line. So unfortunately, sometimes it is a lose-lose situation. False claims can be thrown about in your name, and then you carry them over with time, unfortunately. And as it builds up and people hear about it, then they might start questioning themselves and thinking, why is this person receiving so many false claims? Is there a chance that they could actually be true? And then it leads to all kinds of mess and, damage down the line. But as I said and outlined once again, you as a human are more likely to get attacked and receive false claims and defamation of character if you're more vocal and more active, such as in a community. If you are quite active in giving unpopular opinions or revealing the unpopular truth, right? It can ruffle people's feathers. Or if somehow you're doing really well and you're surrounded by lots of jealous people, then that's another motive for them to fight back and attack, right? So how would you avoid false claims, defamation, slander? How would you avoid any of that? Well, you don't make videos, you don't do anything, and you just watch videos. Obviously, that's not practical, right? What other ways are there? Run away from a community, run away from a case. Yeah, that's another weak mentality. Sometimes you have to, I know, but it just seems silly. So you can get away from the problem, you can reduce it, you can do damage limitation, but it will never fix it properly. Is there any way of fixing it? Not really, because as I said, even if you give like a layout of everything and what's happened and explain the situation, if for whatever reason down the line people just aren't convinced or question themselves, they're going to question themselves and it will go wrong anyway. So maybe you could say it's a lose-lose situation, but it's like, oh well, here's what it is. So you had Salty Pancakes with the silly claims thrown about, just about calling everyone a trafficker. What I would say is the only positive there is because Salty Pancakes accused many people of being a trafficker, it was harder to believe in, right? See, this is the thing, if there's a problem going on in this world and only one person is impacted by it, maybe that problem will never be fixed, okay? But if millions upon millions of people are going through the same problem, there's more chances of it being fixed. Why is that? Well, example, if you had a mobile phone or a laptop and there was an update or there was a malfunction on your laptop or with the internet connection and you were screwed, it wasn't working and there was a fault somewhere or an error and it was just you, Who do you reach out to for help? Is there enough ways to get help to find a solution? Maybe not. Are people likely to believe in what you say? Or will it be a typical, well, it's not happening to me, so it just must be you that's the issue? Exactly. But if a certain state, city, country, county, or town all had the same issue, well, then everybody would be reporting it in, and those in charge and higher authority would probably take the calls and receive emails and then take action, because the more people impacted by something, the more likely for a response to fix the problem. But if you're just one individual and that's all, it's one against all, and it's less likely for it to be fixed. That's just how it works in life, right? So same with false allegations and slander. If a lot of people are called out and there's no evidence to back it up, it'll reach around the community more. More people will hear about it. People will relate to one another and say, hey, have you been called out? Yeah, and I have too. This is silly. Just more people hear about it. Now, not everybody in the community may know my channel or visit it often or at all. So if it was just me with that false claim, there might be a chance that those external people may believe in it. I don't know, right? It could have happened. But on the case that a lot of people were called out false claims, well, it just wasn't taken as seriously, and it was just done in such a weird way, random, right? That randomness, no backup, no proof, not constructed in a formal way. It's just thrown out there. So as much as it can be thrown out there, it can also be thrown away in the trash afterwards for a complete nonsense, right? But it still happened, and for that person like Salty Pancakes to have an initial idea of, this is a good idea to be throwing this about and throwing that about, it's not a good idea, because that in its own right can be going against YouTube TOS, such as falsely reporting someone, that's against YouTube TOS. False copyright counter appeals, when that goes wrong, when you are in the wrong but you counter it and make an appeal, and wrong again, you get further punished by that. Misinformation, so in video format or in comment format, as we've seen. So that's what Salty Pancakes demonstrated, misinformation, false claims. It's not good, not a good look. But I guess it was under control here. Who else besides Salty Pancakes? Kathy and Axel. Does Kathy have bipolar? I don't know, but I'm sure there was a quote or a reference on her channel page about that. She has a ginger cat. Oh well. Have I come across many ginger cats in real life? Once or twice, and they've ignored me. I said hello, they turned their head, walked off. Rude is what it is. Black cats seem to respect me more. Don't know why. There we go. We the people. But yeah, as for Kathy and Axel, the username, Kathy being the human, well, I think so, and Axel being the animal, I would assume, there was a point where Kathy falsely accused and slandered Warlike Wrath's name. Kathy accused Warlike Wrath for doxing and revealing the location of her cat. But there is zero proof of that. I have no clue where they are, or where the cat is, or where the catnip is. No clue at all. What did I do in order to receive that response from her? I simply read out a comment on Bob Farrell's channel, public comment by her, all public information revealed. And what was that information? What was the contents of that message? It was talking about a cat in third person, but wording it like it was their child that needs feeding, and where's daddy at? Daddy, where are you? You gonna feed the cat? You know, it's getting late here. You know, something like that. Weird talk. Kind of like what furries do, where they dress up as an animal and start making animal sounds and getting intimate. That's what it seemed like, okay? So I just simply read out a comment, what they said. So basically what they said, that accusing me of doxing them, when there was no information about anything doxing. So weird. But once again, most people didn't take it serious because they were aware that Kathy was a delusional individual who can't quite get their thoughts straight or clear. And once again, we can play the victim card. Oh, Kathy's got issues and problems. Oh, well, other people do too, but they can act a bit more appropriately. There you go, right? Once again, throwing out false allegations can be damaging, right? It could have a negative impact with falsely accusing someone doxing. And on top, the other false allegation was that Kathy was accusing Warlike Wrath for being a pervert when it comes to animals and handling them. That Warlike Wrath inappropriately touched Kathy's ginger cat. The last time I remember, my arms are of a certain length and I'm not from the US, so I'm very interested to hear how one's reach could, go across the world in distance there. Once again, very silly, but these claims of, what do you call it, sexual harassment can be damaging. Look at the Me Too movement. There are certain females out there that will accuse a male of rape when it wasn't, and that consent was given in the first place, but they decided to change their mind afterwards because they had a falling out, or they felt petty, or they felt betrayed, or they were in a mood. So they just decided to say, you know what, last night was good, but now, nah, you raped me. Wow. That's what certain people can be like of a certain gender. Not all, but some can, and then it can impact and have a bad name on all the other people where there are genuine cases. So once again, such as the Me Too movement, a bandwagon of exploitation, and it can make a mockery of the real cases and the real people going through a problem, right? Just like how when you get those recent trends of these fitness influencers, these females going to a gym with a tripod and camera, pointing it at themselves, but then also it captures the background. So if a male or males look around, glance around, turning the head about, instantly labeled as a gym creep and then posted online, and then that fitness influencer thinks it's a good idea. These false labels, false claims. Just because you turn your head round, you're looking in that direction, or you walk across the camera, called out, named, shamed online, even though there's lack of context. That's why it's led to an increase at times where if a female is lifting a weight, squatting more so, or bench pressing, at times males around won't come on over to help or assist, especially when there's a camera on a tripod nearby, because it's like a trap. It's like, help me, I'm stuck. Person comes along, picks the weight up. There you go, are you okay? Pat on the back. Oh, sexual harassment, you're a creep. You touched me. You shouldn't have come on over. You got too close to my personal space. I'm going to accuse you of this. I'm going to accuse you of that. Exactly. That's why people keep the distance now. That's why people are more cautious now. Okay? So it's like, you can look, but you can't touch. But, if you pay, you can. What? That's completely different. That's the OnlyFans reference, a certain quote made with time. All very manipulative, all very cancerous. If you do want certain elaborations there, so there's more context, and if you don't agree with it but you want more elaboration to understand, I can do a standalone video, okay? But it can just branch off in many different ways, and sometimes certain claims and accusations will be driven more through a certain gender than the other. It's not saying every single person of that gender is doing it, but just in general, it's most likely that the majority of people that are reporting this and falsely claiming that are of a certain gender, which links to a certain action or a supposed act performed in which it didn't. Very manipulative, very dangerous, very damaging. And what tends to happen, the victim that's been, accused of this or accused of that, they've suffered greatly. Some have lost their lives, others haven't, but have been destroyed regardless, with their contacts, their networks, or whatever, right? And anything else? Yeah, but the person that initially accused this person of this or that, whether it be a celebrity case situation, maybe the Johnny Depp Amber Heard one, or more importantly, general public day-to-day life people, not higher ups, but everybody else, general public. Like the ones that have accused this person of this or that, they didn't pay, they didn't get told off, they didn't get in trouble. They just walk away. Oh well, never mind. I mean, you see at times where certain footballers, male footballers, will be accused of this and that. Sometimes it's true, but then other times, false claim, but it's an easy way of getting money and benefiting, right? So you see the manipulative nature of humans. Does it get that deep here? Maybe not so much, but you can see what it can lead to when it comes to certain people, when it comes to certain genders, when it comes to certain claims, right? The Kathy and Axel situation, because they don't really have a foot to stand on, and quite a few people didn't take that person seriously to begin with. Some saying the person's unhinged, not me, what other people have claimed as an observation. When someone makes claims like that, it's like a salty pancake situation. You don't really believe in it that much. So you could say people got lucky that the ones that did issue out those claims were slightly unstable. You know, that the credibility isn't quite there. But there might be some other people, lesser known individuals with lesser known problems that could claim this or claim that, and it might be taken more seriously. You never know, right? So we've had salty pancakes, we've had Kathy and Axel. Anyone else in between? Indiana 59. Not a content creator, but a viewer from different channels to channels. Indiana 59 classifies herself as the devil's daughter. Bad news is, the daddy is right here. I've come face to face with the devil in real life. Did much happen? No, not much. Now, for anyone interested in Warlike Wrath's encounter with the devil face to face in physical format, along with a drawing to depict my experience when I was younger in the woods at night, I already have a video of that on my channel in the past. You want to document it, you want to read it over, feel free. You want to get Tyler's water and splash it in my face right now, or if Just Observing wants to get her Bible and bash me on the head, feel free to do so. But it happened, is what it is. Don't know why, it just happened, okay? But yeah, linking back to Indiana 59, what did she do? Well, when they showed their true colours, unfortunately, but it happened, yeah, there was some insults or critiques or digs at me, but then it went from that to two things, one more serious than the other. Indiana 59 was falsely accusing Warlike Wrath for taking some form of substance enhancements like steroids for building muscle mass, right? Building a bigger frame, a bigger body. With time, other humans have also accused Warlike Wrath for not being natural and taking steroids. But where's the proof? Well, the proof, or the suggested proof in those cases, was Indiana responding back to certain photos of my body. Now, you could establish a link there. Whenever Warlike Wrath posted an update of one's body, Indiana was there quickly to comment on it. Mostly negative. Whether it be saying, ooh, look at that back, look at all those spots, that doesn't look healthy. You know, you're supposedly clean, you don't take this, you don't drink that, and yet look at you. Maybe there is something going on within, inner toxicity. Maybe it's the usage of enhancements, gear, substance, juice, steroids, etc. Now, someone like King Samoan, TRT, that's light-hearted, that's fun, it's not nasty, it's all good. King Samoan is a good individual. It's clear, it's obvious, it's fine. But Indiana is being more serious, right, and not messing about. False accusations of Warlike Wrath possibly taking steroids, and with the usage of pictures suggesting it, but still not enough proof, is there? Do I think or see the need to take steroids or to take this and that? No. One of the main reasons is because I don't do it all the time. So my mentality would be, you take steroids, you build muscle, but then down the line, you stop doing exercise or you stop taking the steroids, you're going to lose all that progression. What's the point? What is the point? Really, the only time you'd need to be taking steroids, I guess, would be if you're an IFFB pro bodybuilder, Mr. Olympia, right? On that type of stage, but I'm not a bodybuilder, so I wouldn't need to be taking anything. I'm not a model either, so I don't need to be taking anything there. I don't have any secret contracts with Gymshark, so nothing going on there. Is it another form of jealousy? Wanting to have what they can't have. They want muscle mass, they want definition, they want a thick neck, they want big biceps, a big hard chest, strong firm nipples as well. Is that what they want? But because they can't have it, they get petty, maybe, and false accusations, maybe. But still, a false claim. And I'm just labeling and highlighting what's happened, what's been documented, okay? Now that isn't as serious, but then the next one is what Indiana 59 accused me of previously, a few months ago. Indiana accused Warlike Wrath for buying views or subscribers. She was suggesting that I did a Salty Pancakes. Supposedly people claim Salty Pancakes has bought subscribers and views to grow his channel. Other people in recent time are claiming that BJ has bought subscribers, or Mr. X Jim Tay has bought her subscribers to grow in unnatural ways. I don't know anything about any of that in the background. It's whatever's going on, because I'm doing my own thing, right? But because I've grown as a channel quicker at times than usual, maybe the odd month I get more views or more subscribers, and because I'm presenting that to the general public's view, just to share with people what's happening and to say thank you in response for people watching, Indiana instantly assumed that because I'm somewhat successful at that point, that it can't be true, that I must have done things illegally buying subscribers or views. Zero evidence. Indiana had zero evidence, but was still pushing that claim and suggesting, okay? I said, you can say slight change of wording and language. What is Indiana demonstrating? A form of edge work, teetering on the boundary of what's acceptable, what's legal, and what's illegal, what's against YouTube TOS, right? Change the wording, you kind of get away with it. So one knows what they're doing. But still, the intention, the initial action is false accusations, let's try and damage and harm Warlike Wrath's reputation. Is it jealousy? Don't know. Maybe not in that case, because Indiana doesn't have a channel of her own. If she did, and it wasn't performing to the same standards as one's, then maybe. But just once again, false claims, not enough evidence, if not none, right? Documenting this so you people know who is who and what people have done with time, okay? Was there anything else? You get the other light-hearted situations where Leanne, Matt Lingo and Dale will accuse one another and others as being bullies. They're not being serious, they're messing about, they're being light-hearted, in case you're wondering. Times where I've been labelled a bully, but they've been messing around. As said, there's a difference between serious, false allegations being done with intent and then others just being light-hearted and messing about. But if you're in a situation where you aren't able to distinguish the difference between the two, it can be hard to understand. So that's why I'm doing this video here. Has there been any other people? You've had Kenny Hines, you've had Rhonda. And when I say Rhonda, I'm not talking about Rhonda, the person on my channel in the past, like a year or two ago. The Rhonda I'm talking about is the one with glasses, the overweight woman, okay? I didn't use the other word to describe because it might be too offensive, but, you know, as an observation, an overweight individual, Rhonda seemed to claim that, and Kenny, that Warlike Wrath, the subscribers he has, that it might not be natural and that the people that are watching, well, it's only a small amount. False claims once again. Rhonda, if you're there with the glasses, if not, put them on. Maybe put something in ears as well to hear very clearly. Near to 10,000 subscribers. Will it be reached or not? Likely not. Worth a try. Active viewers live on one's channel. 13 to about 42, more so recent time. 20 to about 36, 42 people max, compared to about 9,000 plus subscribers. Doesn't look good. Take in mind, the majority of people are on catch up, the rest that catch up afterwards. Take in mind, with me changing the cases that I've done, I moved from Kenny Veach to Dylan Rounds, less popular. So people that regularly did watch, some dropped off, walked away, because they are just not interested in what I'm now covering, is what it is. I returned back to Kenny Veach. There we go. People are back, new people return. Another news flash, Rhonda. Okay, put your glasses on, keep them on. At some point in some days' time, I'll try and provide it as proof, because I know people like the receipts and the little quirky lines and buzzwords. Within the last 7 days, I have gained 100,000 views. Take that in. 7 days, 100,000 views across a range of different videos spread out. New personal best. What do I normally average per week in views? Well, sometimes 27 to 55,000 views. Kind of goes up and down. Maybe the medium is about 38,000. And yet within 7 days, first time ever, 100,000. So spread out. There are still people present and new people coming. The difference is, Rhonda, compared to me and other channels you may follow or listen to, such as those live panels in certain cases, they don't really grow. They might have a loyal fan base, which should be, acknowledged. It's a good thing. But you always want growth, because if you don't grow, what you do have will eventually decline for obvious reasons, natural selection, okay, age, etc. But with constant growth with time, that can help keep things active and somewhat healthy. All in one place, or, spread out. And for it to be spread out, it'll cover more videos and more people will do the research on a range of different stuff, right? So whilst right now, maybe 8 people, 6 people are watching this video right now, and give it a few days time, maybe only 100 to 200 people will watch this. I know what to expect. This video isn't for the 9,000 plus people out there who are subscribed, okay? But if I do Kenny Veach and I do a breaking news or discovery video, well, obviously, will be a different result, okay? So you could argue and say, Rhonda, I'm sacrificing potential success in the name of keeping missing people cases alive, even if they're not that important, even in the eyes of some who say it's not important, it's not that popular. Listen in with the keywording. Any missing person case should be considered equally important to one another. They're all important, right? You can't cover everything. You can't do everything. You do what you're interested in and what you can do a good job at, okay? I can be interested in something which may not be that popular or may decline, but I'm still going to stick around. Question what you got to ask yourself, Rhonda. You doing the same thing? No, you're a viewer. So much of this, with your false claims, and Kenny as well, not really getting anywhere, is it? Are you contributing to the case? No, didn't think so. There you go, back in line. Yeah, just giving examples from both viewers. Viewers can be just as disruptive and damaging as creators. Creators will have that edge because they have an audience themselves and, one against all. It can happen. It's the odd viewer, not as bad, but Still going to acknowledge it, okay? Bob Farrell, a bit of false claims about the credibility of Warlike Wrath, doesn't know what he's doing, not really here for the case. Yeah, I've demonstrated it, the focus, the consistency, longer than Bob Farrell, more coverage than Bob Farrell, more appropriate language and wording, less deceived, more aware. The list goes on. Bob's done his thing, okay? I've done what I've done, simple as. But these false claims being thrown about with zero evidence, once again, it's just very flat, isn't it? Any other claims by people? Well, there's been some unusual false claims recently, which I can't quite understand. Comes and goes. So, once again, this is just being honest, simply pointing it out from what I've seen, what I've experienced, what I've been on the receiving end of. So, when it comes to Cleo, as supportive as she is, which is most appreciated, big shout out to her. There's been times and moments where Cleo, also known as My Clee, as of recently, has falsely accused Warlike Wrath for gaslighting. Right. And what was the recent one? Cleo falsely accusing Warlike Wrath as being a bully, but meaning it in a serious way. Gaslighting and being a bully doesn't quite seem too good, that, does it, if a person was called that? But just not really any evidence to back it up. It's just out of nowhere, unexpected. Not the first time. Unfortunate. Okay? Don't know why it happens, but it did. Now, for Cleo to accuse me of being a bully and gaslighting humans, or herself, just remember one thing, Cleo, that I've gone out of my way as of recent time, besides the usual schedule of videos. I've made response videos to you in helping you grow and expand yourself naturally, giving you pointers and tips, advice, such as on YouTube and videos, right? Because of doing those videos, statistically, you went from 18 subscribers up to 248 and went from 100 and a couple of views up to about, what we at now, 48,000 because of that advice, that guidance. See, the important thing is with those videos, a choice was made to help someone, and that someone was you. Now, these false allegations and claims being thrown about, does it warrant it? I don't think so. What about the language that was used in those videos? It was more question-based, where you could respond back to it in your own time. Are you ready to do this? Do you think this is the right time? Questions like that. I'm not telling you to do this directly or to do that exactly. I'm suggesting, would that work better for you? Or is this a better choice? What do you come down to ultimately? But the purpose of those videos aren't to demand that someone takes action on this or that. It's to guide them and suggest pointers and tips. They make the final decision. Cleo makes the final choice, such as with those YouTube videos and tips. Whether she takes it on board or not, that's her choice, her decision. You do what you think's best. So, times where Cleo has left comments saying, Warlike Wrath, tell me when to go to bed. Tell me when my deadline is. Tell me what I should do next. Tell me when I should make a video. Tell me what it should be about. Tell me. So for Cleo to ask me to tell her what to do, to give her instructions as like a demand. That sounds like one is setting a trap. So for Cleo to accuse Warlike Wrath for gaslighting and being a bully, being dominant, and yet previously Cleo is wanting me to give her orders, to order her about, to boss her around. That sounds like you're setting up a trap so that when the person does respond back, then you can say, ha, got you, you did this, you did that, you said this, you said that, I've got proof now. Being honest, well, whether that was the case or not, that sounds like a plan was issued and it seems a little bit manipulative, being honest, right? I don't do mind games. Come across a lot of people in time that have tried, including psychopaths too. Come across a lot of people out there. Disappointing, most definitely. As I said earlier, the example of a person could consent to this, but then afterwards they suddenly change their mind just because they've had a falling out or disagreement with someone, so then they accuse that other person of performing rape, sexual harassment, just like that. Damaging. Once again, at the end of the day, nowadays, modern times, males, against all, okay? Males, in the eyes of some, can be treated as villains, even just for existing and breathing. So when all these claims get thrown about by the opposite gender, it's probably more likely to be taken true and listened to. But if a male went through a situation and it was real, and they said, this person did this or did that, people aren't likely to believe in it as much or take it seriously because it's coming from a male. So you can see the toxicity behind all that, but something is just telling me within that are there certain humans out there now or in the future trying to set up traps so that I do or say something, what they ask for, so then they can use it as proof and evidence down the line when accusing me of something. Now, obviously that didn't work in this case if it was the situation, Cleo, because when you did say, do this or do that or tell me, I just simply said, it's up to you. Whatever is best for you. Okay? I'm not in a position to be telling you what to do. You do what you think's best with whatever you're doing. Simple as. Appropriate language, which was natural at the time, but when I look back now, I think, damn, feels like a trap. So, yes, very unfortunate. Now, Cleo has apologised after one of the claims. She might apologise again, but it still happened. And it was repeated. And I said, when you analyse and you pick up on all these little mechanisms and movements, decisions, calculations within how a human mind could work at times, an extreme amount of depth as to how things can play out or what could happen in the future. You make the wrong step, you're fucked. Okay? So this is almost like a live discovery on the spot. Okay? Now, as for the future, if for whatever reason I grew and became more popular, there's no guarantee. There's no guarantee at all, but if it did happen, obviously I will become more of a target. So I will have to upgrade my awareness and how I respond back to things. Constant adaptations. Okay? So who will be the next person to falsely accuse me of something with zero evidence? I guess time will tell. But let's just briefly highlight the other few people with time who appear and then disappear, then reappear. Not so much in terms of slander, defamation of character, but more so grievances. Okay? I'm interested, right? I'm interested when people have grievances with me, they depart, or they talk behind my back elsewhere, and then they return back later like nothing ever happened. And how many people can I think of on the spot that have demonstrated that? I mean, Indiana was an example in the eyes of others, being toxic, then returning back like nothing ever happened. You know, very interesting behaviour that. But is there anyone else? I'm only going to give one example because it's only one valid one I can think of on the spot. Okay, if I do think of any other examples in the future, I will, put them out there. Smile now, cry later. There was another person called Watcher of Drama with the same emoji. Different username, but the same emoji. I don't know if it's the same person. 2 different YouTube accounts. So take in mind, it's hard to keep up with everything. Watcher of Drama seemed like an okay person and was very helpful in providing the full-length documentary of Dylan Rounds. Credit to them. But Smile Now, Cry Later, whilst they were okay at first, they had a falling out with me. What exactly about? Defending myself against Bob Farrell or Ty Corbyn, one or the other. Smile Now, Cry Later blasted me, criticised me, said I'm done with this, I'm cancelling my membership, I'm leaving, I'm never coming back. But they have returned, all nice and positive. What's changed? Or is it that, oh, I forgot what happened, let's move forwards? I would know, I witnessed it myself. There might be some people right here that can remember it too. I'm interested. When people have a problem with me, they walk away and then they come back later, but everything is supposedly normal and nice. Yeah, interesting. Now, not directly in relation to, well, actually, no, the other person, Rhonda, okay? The overweight person who I was referring to earlier. You might wonder, why am I using that description? It's a characteristic about that person, okay? Don't worry. If you're going to think I'm fat phobic, I'm a fat twat right now. I'll even demonstrate it, but not full on because I know Watcher Crazy will get too excited. But you look at that, okay? Nipples aren't quite showing. I'm almost pregnant. Look at that. Fat bastard. That's because of Christmas, New Year's Eve. That will be going eventually, okay? What's this? Watcher Crazy once more. You see a bit of wobble, like Dale's rubbery snail. What I wanted to demonstrate right there, though, in a serious nature, is by describing a characteristic about someone so it's more memorable, so you know who I'm talking about. I don't know the person's full username. It might have all numbers within it. When I talk about Rhonda, people could think it's a different Rhonda from the past. Now, I'm talking about a Rhonda from Bob Farrell's channel with the glasses, profile picture of them sat down and of a bigger size, okay? But I'm big as well. So, it's kind of balanced and fair there. Weird little examples being given, but, got to penetrate through people's thick skulls, okay? My descriptions, based off characteristics of what's visibly there, observations, that's it. If I see a slim ginger cat, it's a slim ginger cat. If I see a fat ginger cat, it's a fat ginger cat, okay? And I'm talking about an actual cat, not Kathy, okay? So, it's just so you know who I'm talking about. Simple as. But Rhonda had an issue with me and then just comes on in casually with a comment here or there, talking about Jim Tay saying, oh yeah, full of hatred, goes here, goes there to cause more hatred and more damage and destruction. Well, Rhonda, you're supporting a channel that falsely accused me and, question my credibility on the Dylan Rounds case. You, Rhonda, are supporting a channel which has, caused disruption in the Dylan Rounds case. I don't think it makes you a better person. You might be making your observations yourself and other things, but, you're tied with dirt as well, okay? It's like all other people are. A lot of people with, dirty hands, not literally, okay? I mean, Badger might, because going underground and burying with her paws, all mud in the nails, completely different. But there can be a lot of humans out there, you like to do little fancy wordings, okay? Are they in a position to? I don't know. What about their background or education? There might be. Might be more successful, might be more intelligent there compared to me. But In terms of what they've got themselves involved in, humans, content creators or audience members, a range of people out there, Dylan Brown's community and further afar. If I do these talks, these speeches, these comments, oh yeah, let's all now get together. Let's all now do a coordinated attack on someone or in defense of someone, when that wasn't the case originally. Let's all now become knowledgeable and forget about the past. Let's all now claim we are one, we are great, we are successful, but not what happened beforehand. The thing that boosted some people up was the very thing that they say they hate down the line. But it was like a complete clean slate, let's forget the past. You forget the past, history repeats itself, it's simple as that. And a lot of people out there that can act as experts or know-it-alls and do all these little fancy scriptures and words, are they in a position to talk? Not always. See a lot of comments with time, such as my channel on different case and courage, right? And I'm not saying all who share these characteristics, but most that perform an action have that characteristic, understand the wording. 90% of people that have called me out, criticised me when covering a case, they're telling me I shouldn't do it, I should walk away, or it's pointless what I'm doing. Those are the sort of people that have a default profile picture and/or a default dead-end channel with virtually zero content on it. And even if they do have videos, it's dated about 8-9 years ago and it's crap video quality. And most importantly, what they all share is zero contribution to the case, right? Not once in my entire life on YouTube, when covering cases, has someone come on in more successful, more credible, more of a significant figure in the case, who's turned around and said, you know what, Raf, walk away. You're not welcome here. Never happened. The people that have told me to walk away or that what I'm doing is pointless, they're all nobodies, okay? They've not contributed to the case. They're not a part of the case. They're not the family members. They're not the friends, right? So most of the time, it's like they're just not in a position to talk. Simple as. So whilst these people can talk on behalf of others and tell the story of how things played out and how certain things, you know, with the false allegations, the claims, the hatred, the darkness, well, some people once did it themselves or were a part of it in some way, but they don't seem to acknowledge that part. Only the latter bit. You call it the latter? The end part. Great job, not. So, what I'm going to do right now, watch your crazy. Dale, don't go running anywhere. Now, there's a high chance that certain people won't be around watching right now because of the day it is, the night, the context of this video. But I'm going to do it anyway, okay? I'm going to do it anyway. Why not? So, being a bit more light-hearted now. Watcher of crazy, watcher of crazy, watcher of nips, watcher of printers, watcher of lawnmowers, watcher of watches, watcher of pulses, watcher of diabetes, watcher of snail racing French competitions, watcher of drains, watcher of plungers, watcher of chairs, watchers of analysis, the lot. You said to whip away the year of 2023. Well, there might be two lots of that because the second one will be my punishment for failing to reach a certain milestone, which seems imminent now, unfortunately. But I'll follow with that accordingly a different day. But right now, okay, doesn't matter who it is. And take in mind, this is a light-hearted part of the video, so the claims, the allegations, the false stuff and all that. You know, you see this, you think, oh, this seems a bit dodgy. Transition aside, what's said has been said. Now, this is light-hearted, unrelated, in case anyone's wondering. Dale, don't move, Watch your crazy, don't move, okay? Stop wiggling about. Yeah? Oh, Inky, does that remind you of something? The chains? Yeah? Not the first time. Sinaloa, gone a bit quiet since. Yeah. Anybody else in between? Just observing? No, no. Just observing's light and presence will break these bounds and shackles. Whoa, that force and presence. Calm yourself down, okay? Lock you in, Kaylee. You can laugh, you can giggle, but you can't hide. Yeah? Yeah? Your hands in front? Yeah? You can't do anything, can you? No. And that's unfortunate, isn't it? Yeah? Is that slapping? No, it's just gentle taps. Yeah? Caught red-handed. Isn't that right? Dale. See, this is the thing. Just remember Dale, okay? When you revived from the ground, brought back to life. It wasn't the whip. It wasn't even Matt Lingo. Ooh, no, it wasn't. Okay? It was a certain someone. And Watcher Crazy knows all about that. Dangling down in its web, in its grasp. You see, moving on down with its fangs ready to strike. You remember that, Dale? The spider was lurking in the darkness all along, scuttling about, not knowing where its next move would be. Watcher Crazy still needs to overcome the spider, but it's just not her time yet. So Dale, you're going to be blessed with a new bite. Laura will come second with her bite. But for tonight, spider first. You feel that, Dale? You feel it going into your system? There we go. And last but not least, to whip oneself into a new year. Okay, it's time. Here we go. Clean, fresh, ready to... Yeah? You like that? We'll even do a spin, okay? We'll even do a back spin. There we go. So hopefully that was to good standards, Watcher Crazy. We'll leave it there for now. Hopefully people enjoyed the video or found it somewhat interesting, informative, and spreads awareness of who is who and what's happened with time. You joined late, feel free to rewind to the start of this video and catch up. As for now, goodbye. I'll see you next time in the new year, likely.